Hello everyone and welcome back to a brand new day of Road to TCG Worlds 2017. Now today we are going to be using Primal Groudon for the expanded format. Portland Regionals happened last weekend? No, 2 weekends ago? 2 weekends ago, and Primal Groudon had received a lot of talk going into the tournament because Wobbuffet is a really good card. You can use weakness policy to reduce the effect that the CGI has on your Primal Groudon. You can 1 KO everything, even the new GXs, thanks to the strong energies. So it was viewed as a really good option, and Travis Nunlist was able to get all the way into the top 8 with this list. Now I'm sorry, I don't know why this is so dark. I generally don't understand how light works. But anyways, Primal Groudon Wobbuffet, let's review the deck list because we do have a ton of single cards here, as you can see. That's why the deck occupies a lot more space than usual. But we have our 2 Groudon-EX. We have water weakness and grass weakness, lightning resistance and non-lightning resistance. They're probably not going to be, or the difference is probably not going to matter. There might be some matchups, but most likely they won't. Trump, dealing 10 damage to each of your opponent's bench Pokemon, not that great of an attack. I actually prefer Ripclaw, as it deals 30 damage and can potentially buy you a turn somehow, especially in a deck out scenario. But the main attacker here is of course Primal Groudon-EX. With its trait Omega Barrier, it's not affected by any item cards, or trainer card rather, other than tools or stadium cards. Those do affect Primal Groudon, but everything else does not, so you can't Lysander it up, you can't Escape Rope it back, you can't poison it with Hypnotoxic Laser, you can't play Enhanced Hammer or Crushing Hammer, or well, you can, and you can target the energies, but then nothing would happen. And the attack, Gaia Volcanion, deals 100 damage, and if there's a stadium card in play, you discard it and you deal 100 more damage. So 200 damage for 4 energy is really good. There aren't any stadiums that don't play there aren't any decks that don't play stadiums, so you'll always be swinging for 200, and with the addition of strong energies you can reach numbers up to 220 or 240. For Wobbuffet, so you can buy yourself some time, you prevent abilities like the CDI, you prevent abilities like Vileplume, you prevent Shaman, which you don't run yourself, so that's pretty good. You slow down the game with Wobbuffet. And we're also using one Mr. Mime. I'm sorry about the sound outside. You also use Mr. Mime with its ability Bench Barrier. You prevent all damage done to your bench Pokemon by attacks, and it's Psychic type, therefore its ability doesn't get stopped by your own Wobbuffet, so that's pretty good. Now onto the supporter cards. We have quite a variety here. We have 4 Karina, which it's been a while since I've used Karina. You get to search your deck for a fighting type Pokemon and an item card and place them both into your hand. So with this versatility you get to play a ton of different item cards, such as Escape Rope. You can find Computer Search, you can find Enhanced Hammer, you can find your 1 Mega Turbo to accelerate your energy, you can find Professor's Letter, so essentially you're looking for energy as well. You can find your Robo Substitute to buy yourself a turn, you can play a Super Potion or get a Super Potion in order to heal, or get the corresponding tool you need, Assault Vest, Floatstone, weakness policy, or even Focus Sash, depending on the matchup. You could even get a Berserker for future turns. Yeah, so super versatile card, super good card for every fighting type deck. And then we have 3 Sycamore, 1 Colress, 1 N, 2 Pokemon Center Lady, and 2 Lysander. Because we are running the 4 Karina, we can run a lower amount of Professor Sycamore, and essentially being able to Karina into Computer Search means we can draw any card we want. And finally, we have 4 Berserkers to use, all those supporters, and we have 4 Tropical Beach. Now this is a card many of you might not even know at this point, if you're new to Expanded. Tropical Beach was a Worlds promo, as you can see, where the light is shining, Worlds 11, and it was also the Worlds promo in Worlds 2012. it's a costly card. I reckon the English versions probably are still around the 80 to 100 range each. So having 4 of them is really, really rare, I would say, because you can't use any other language in the United States and in Mexico other than Spanish. But yeah, drawing up to 7 cards and finishing your turn. But because you are using Primal Groudon, you are a very slow and methodical deck, you can afford to lose your turn in order to get a replenished hand, and if your opponent uses an end to get rid of those resources, well, you get 1 less card, but you still get a brand new hand. Finally, we have 4 strong energy to make sure we have the right damage output. We have 5 basic fighting energy, and we have a single psychic energy. Now, why psychic? Because having the single psychic energy means you will never have issues covering the cost of Primal Groudon-EX's attack, because it does use 1 colorless. There will never be an instance where you have more than 1 non-fighting energy, so that's pretty good. And it also opens up the option for Wobbuffet to finish something off, to pressure, whatever, or even for Mr. Mime in that very rare scenario where you need to paralyze to maybe stay in the game. I don't know. But there's literally no harm in running it, and you can get some benefits out of it in weird situations, so that's fine. Oh, and I didn't talk about the Puzzle of Time. Puzzle of Time allows you to reuse pretty much any card. You can get back stadiums to keep dealing a lot of damage. You can get back strong energies to make sure you're dealing enough damage. You can get back your computer search, you can get back your enhanced hammer, you can get back all the single cards you do run, you can get them back. So that's pretty good. Pretty good. And you can search for the missing Puzzle of Time you need with Karina. So pretty methodical deck. I did use this deck, not this exact list of course, because there's been quite a few new cards released since. Oh wow, did I really not? Oh, it's expanded, that's why. There we go. I did use this Worlds in 2015 in order to well, I used this deck in Worlds Day 1. I went 5-2, so I made it to Day 2. I believe I beat TJ Tracker, which is a really good, who is a really good player, highly rated player. I beat TJ in the last round of Swiss on Day 1, and then I qualified for Day 2. I didn't do too well in Day 2. I had to play a mirror match against Ross Coffin, who we were both using pretty much the same deck list. There was like a 1 or 2 card difference. He got all the way to 12th. I got like 90th or something. So there's variance for you. And yeah. So it wasn't a bad deck choice. Definitely, it was a really good one, I would say. But just I waived some of the important cards in key turns, and I played against Night March where Target Whistle was not too popular. It was only starting to become a thing, and I lost to that, so that was pretty bad. Okay, now we're up against Trevenant. Because of that, I kinda have to rush a Primal Groudon, honestly. Losing the energy sucks, but I'm not gonna have access to item cards next turn, so I really need to set up here, or try to guarantee my setup. So what tool card do I actually need here? What tool card do I actually need? Okay, I did get to Puzzle of Time, but they're also pretty useless here, honestly. They are pretty useless. I generally don't want to bench anything else. I wish I had a Karina. Honestly, I wish I had a Karina. Maybe I get back another Puzzle of Time. Yeah, that makes sense. And see, I generally don't want to use the Nest Ball. Massive Friend 130, okay. So I need to attach enough energy. That's what I need to do. I guess I'll play this. Computer Search, Pokemon Center Lady, that's pretty good. Pokemon Center Lady is pretty good. So I'll draw them in this order. If my opponent plays down anything else, I could actually use the Computer Search. So I think I'm actually gonna do this. Because next turn, okay, I shouldn't play the Nest Ball, otherwise I will mess with that. Next turn, I can Lysander something else he benches, get access to item cards, and actually use the Computer Search. So that's pretty good. Unless he doesn't bench anything else. He already played a Wally, so he can't play an N to mess with our top decks. Looks like he's not going to build anything else, or to bench anything else rather. I would love it if it did, but he doesn't. Okay, so no item cards for us, that's fine. That's generally fine. I don't need to lose my energy. I actually need the energy. And yeah, I can just be patient here. I can just be really patient. Even Ripclaw could be good here. Wow. So, discarding a ton of resources. He plays on the stadium, meaning we will be able to one-hit KO Trevenant Break, or Trevenant rather, no matter what. Even without any strong energy, despite resistance. And he will bench the other Phantom, I hope. So once he does, yeah, there it is. I can Lysander, and now I can Computer Search for the Primal, which is what I need. He goes for a Tree Slam, that's fine. I will top deck the Pokemon Center Lady, which is also pretty good to have here. And I will Lysander. Maybe I'm not even gonna need the Pokemon Center Lady, or I'm not gonna use it. I definitely Computer Search, discarding the Nest Ball, but what else? Because if I discard the energy, I'm setting myself up. I think it's better to have the Pokemon Center Lady, because Trevenant really doesn't do too much damage. So should I discard the Sycamore? Is that really my play? I guess. It's a bit risky here. Definitely a bit risky. But I feel comfortable with the Pokemon Center Lady. As long as my opponent doesn't play a Delinquent right here, we are good to go. And we might end up 2-hit KOing with Trevenant, which is also okay. It's really okay. You could also find a stadium. That would be nice. That would actually be really nice. Complicated matchup. Not the easiest for sure. Does attach an energy. I'd rather him retreat and attack with a Trevenant. If he goes for Ascension, he essentially, ironic, loses a turn. Okay, no. So he's just gonna leave the Trevenant active. That's fine. Scoop up Cyclone on the Shaman. Potentially gonna reuse it. Now I just need to eventually top deck a stadium, or I will 2-hit KO the bench Trevenant, which is also fine. Team Flare Grunt, that's not gonna affect my Primal Groudon. We might see an immediate concession right here. A lot of people forget about Primal Groudon's Omega Barrier. I've been guilty of that for sure. I've definitely been guilty of that for sure myself. There's a Shaman for 3 cards. I guess my opponent was really hoping to slow us down with that. Now he's using up a ton of cards. Yeah, the big issue is the fact that we 2-hit KO the Trevenant, but any damage he does deal, he's gonna need another energy on the Trevenant, and we can heal it off with Pokemon Center Lady. So at best, he's 4-hit KOing our Primal Groudon, and it's very unlikely he will have enough time to power up another Trevenant. So yeah, we just take a KO here with Gaia Volcano, dealing 180 damage. Now, even with a strong, we don't deal enough damage to the Trevenant, but it's generally fine. We are in no hurry whatsoever. And either he attaches an energy to the active in order to deal 60 damage, or he chooses to attach to the bench. Is he really going to play another stadium? There's 3 stadiums in the discard pile already. Maybe he forgot. There is a chance he forgets about that. Okay, there's a Sycamore. That's fine. He is looking for a stadium, but I mean, he's gonna trade 60 damage to allow me to get a KO. I really hope he does get the stadium. I really hope he actually does find the stadium. I'm rooting for my opponent to be able to attack me here. Is he going to play the Crushing Hammer once again? Yep, he does. Flips heads, and you still can't remove my energy, friend. I'm so sorry, but you still can't remove my energy. Yeah, sad fate for my opponent. Does evolve into the break, so he will be able to damage me without the stadium. And because of that, I'm gonna wait to use my Pokemon Center Lady, because I want to remove the maximum damage possible from Primal Groudon. So if I can remove 60 instead of 50, that's better. It's not gonna make a big difference in the long run, but it might, so I'd rather be safe. And he's also benching, he's also filling his bench, which means our Cold Rest the turn after this one, or the next one, or whatever, will net us a good amount of cards. Just Gaia Volcano, no big deal. Okay. Oh no, 80 damage is just enough to 2-hit KO. I thought Trevenant Break had 170 HP, that's my bad. He might retreat to prevent a KO, that's also perfectly fine. I just want to make the best use of my healing card. We do see a Tropical Beach, which I will not play. I will play the turn after this one in order to KO the follow-up Trevenant. And that generally should be game. My opponent's smiley face for whatever reason. And yeah, this should be a fairly straightforward and easy matchup. Now, if we had gone second, and my opponent got the turn 1 Wallies for the Trevenant, then we would have been in a lot of trouble. I don't see the need to play down the stadium or the Cold Rest even. I can just 2-hit KO this guy, and whatever Trevenant does end up having energy, I will play down the Tropical Beach in order to KO. It's as simple as that. My opponent literally has no more chance in this game, I believe. He chooses to discard a stadium, making it even harder for him to attack me. And now he's playing to deck himself out. I mean, there's nothing he can have at this point to bring him back into the game. Literally nothing. And looks like, I mean, he should have energy by now. Another Crushing Hammer. Yeah, there's no way we lose this game. There is absolutely no way we lose this game. He would need 4 fully powered Trevenants, and he only has 1. And eventually we might draw a Lysander to KO Jirachi or Shaman and just make sure we are always ahead in the price trade-off. We see another Wally and we see a pass. So I will attach the Strong just to deal that little bit of extra damage. That way now we can... Well, actually that doesn't matter. We still don't one-shot the Shaman, and we always one-shot the Jirachi. So there's really not that big of a difference. Now he might think he's safe here, because I haven't played down a single stadium just yet. But looks like he's gonna deck himself out before we even can even do anything. Now we've seen 3 Verse Seeker. We haven't seen a single Lysander though. So off of the 5 cards he has left, I'm sure he has at least 1 Lysander, right? Okay, we get another Strong, which is awesome. And I could bench the Wobbuffet and the Groudon to draw more cards off of this Colress, but I'd really rather not. We find another stadium in order to KO whatever comes up, and there's a victory, so yeah. Pretty simple and pretty straightforward. And we didn't even need a stadium now, next turn, in order to KO the bench Trevenant, because we were dealing 140 damage minus resistance, that's 120, and that's enough for the KO. And we had already seen after Wally that he had no more Trevenant breaks left. So yeah, if you're playing Groudon and you're going first, you should be pretty happy that you're playing against Trevenant. Pretty happy. Okay, this might be Night March. Lightning, Psychic, Colorless. This might actually be Night March. Hello, we get to go first, which is awesome. And we get a Wobbuffet start, which is even more awesome. We get triple Tropical Beach though, that's not so awesome here. And yeah, it is Night March. Cool. Now I will get my mulligan. Another Garena, that's fine. I get a Strong, which is great. So I'm gonna get a Groudon, and for my item card I'm gonna grab the Robo Substitute so I can bench it immediately. Next turn I can find anything else I need. Wow, it's been so long. Wait, what? Why? Okay, there we go. Also, you have to play it on the board and then it becomes. My opponent saying I have a good deck, that's very nice of him, and let's just Tropical Beach for 2 cards. Pretty good. Now we are stopping, or preventing rather, Shaman for my opponent, which is always good. We don't need Focus Sash here. I think we're better off finding the Assault Vest if it's there. I didn't check. I also didn't check for the Professor's letter. But that's fine, we are good here. I only lost to Night March because they were able to, at Worlds I mean, at Worlds Day 2, because they were able to target whistle back my Landorus X and one-hit KO it. Otherwise I would have won game 3 by deck out. Now I do find energy, which is great. I also find a Professor's letter. My opponent replaces my stadium. It's not a big deal. And I could make use of the Dimensional Valley in order to deal damage, but there's really no need. Okay, I'm gonna bench the Mime just because I can. and I'm going to end here. We do find a Primal, we find a Tropical Beach as well. I mean, not a Primal, a regular Groudon. And I will play the beach. I don't need stadiums to 1-KO anything my opponent has, so I do need to find the Primal eventually. And I do, so that's pretty good. I mean, I don't, but I find the Karina, and that's more than good enough. Thanks to no Shaman, my opponent will very rarely have an explosive turn. He also doesn't need the Fighting Fury Belt because the damage, well, my Groudons have even HP numbers, so the +10 don't help him, and I'm gonna deal 100 damage no matter what, so resistance doesn't help him either. I mean, I guess it could, because Pumpkaboo could resist a non-boosted hit by a stadium, but with the strong energy, that's very unlikely to happen. Another end, that's fine. We are in no rush. We are definitely in no rush. Primal Groudon just creates a scenario where you just can't lose. Like, you eventually come up and deal so much damage and you just can't lose. Now, we do see a Puzzle of Time. We might see two of them being played, yes. Dimensional Valley and Acrobat, that makes sense. We're not drawing too well off of my opponent's ends. We're definitely not drawing well off of our opponent's ends. Where we're getting energy and we're getting Tropical Beach, so I mean, the biggest issue would be if he decides to if he can find a Lysander and Lysanders up the Groudon before I can do anything. But he only has 4 Night Marchers in the discard pile, so it's really no big deal. Just gonna do this. I'm gonna waste both Nest Balls. All 3 Primals are there. I also have Berserker and Corvina, so it's really weird that I haven't been able to find a Primal. And there it is. Nice. And we find the Assault Vest as well, to reduce my opponent's damage output even further. Now the thing here is, we really need 2 Primal Groudons powered up to like really secure the game. So no DC yet for my opponent, which is really weird. We are down to our 3rd stadium, but as I mentioned, we really don't need those. And my opponent just passes, he's not attacking me. I do draw another Primal Groudon. I'll just Mega Evolve. It's no big deal. Or Primal Evolve, rather. I mean, it's the same rule. Nobody calls it I will Primal Evolve. It's always Mega Evolve. Okay, so no Dimensional Valley means my opponent should struggle here a little bit to attack us. He's down to 2, maybe 1. Okay, Dimensional Valley. He probably runs at least 3 though. Maybe all 4, but at least 3. Here's a Primal Groudon, and now we finally have First Seekers. We don't have energy anymore, but we are in no rush. We do see a town map. Wow, 3 Night Marchers, and he doesn't find the stadium, so he has to pass. Okay, we find the Professor's Letter. We're gonna grab 2 basic energy. And as I mentioned, we are in absolutely no hurry whatsoever. So I'm gonna Karina for a Primal and a Float. And yeah, like, we either win by prices or by deck out. There's no way we lose here. Focus Sash just because I can. I will attach an energy. I will attach the weakness policy to the Robo sub, and I will Mega Evolve, Primal Evolve, whatever. Now, what can my opponent do here to help himself out? And I'm sorry if you hear like this background noise, but it's so hot now in Mexico that I need that in order for me to not be dead from the heat. My intention of attaching the float zone was to actually retreat into the Robo sub, so that's my bad. I forgot to do that. But anyways, we can go aggro. The opponent has very few resources left. And so let's just Gaia Volcano here. We get one prize card, which is a Colress. We have the Assault Vest. My opponent has 3 Night Merchers, so there's only 7. That's 140 minus 40, that's 100. 110 because of the Fighting Fury belt. So it's not even a 3-hit KO. That's how bad this is. It's not even a 3-hit KO. It does go for teammates. Interesting. Now he has 10 total cards left. Night March for 110, we should survive another hit. I could also just, I was gonna say I could just go search for my Pokemon Center lady with a computer search to make 100% sure that he doesn't knock us out next turn. And Primal Groudon trading for 3 prizes seems pretty good. And that will conclude today's video, guys. Primal Groudon still viable. I don't know what Travis lost to in top 8. I'm surely Veltal, or most likely Veltal. But Primal Groudon is still viable. It's still an option expanded. It's never seen play in standard, I don't think. Without Karina, it does lose a ton of support. But anyways, that will be all for me today, guys. Please leave a like on the video if you can. It really helps support the channel. And I will see you guys tomorrow for our Venomoth entry for the Pokédex series. Thank you guys, and goodbye.